But you
I think it
previously said,
maintains my objectivity.
but you previously said that you did consider what was out in the public arena in making a determination as to whether Michael Jackson was an opioid addict, correct?
I'm referring to past history and behaviors from the 1980s, from the 1990s.
Okay, so
that's really what I'm referring to.
When it
not
supported your
April of 2008, sir.
Okay. When it supported your opinion, you brought in outside sources, and when it did not support your opinion, you did not.
Gross misstatement.
Okay. Thank you, Doctor.
Mr. Walgren, anything further? On recross?
No, thank you, Your Honor.
Redirect, Mr. Chernoff.
5 minutes, Judge.
Thank you.
When I first talked to you, I sent you out basically a series of a summary of Arnold Klein's medical records, right?
A written summary, correct.
And you, in trying to understand the medical records, asked your secretary to put together some diagrams or charts, right?
The diagrams or charts were created by the documentation that you sent me plus the chart. That's correct.
Right. And then
in addition,
yes.
I also want to tell you, the copy that I received, the dates were very, very difficult to read. It wasn't anywhere even remotely as clear as this document here. I think it had been copied probably 4 or 5 times.
Right.
And emailed.
Yeah, right. Well, it had watermark on it and everything else, right?
Correct.
Okay. But then we went over these charts and we talked about the mistakes, the problems with them, right?
Yes.
And then we didn't use them as a result.
Correct.
Right?
These were introduced by Mr. Chernoff.
They were introduced to show the
Just a moment,
process,
please.
not.
Just remember.
Well, okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate the invitation. Sustain. Just follow through. Mr. Chernoff, thank you.
These charts were never designed to be introduced to anybody. Isn't that right?
Relevant.
The objection is sustained.
Okay. Did I ask you to prepare these charts?
No.
Okay. You prepared them for your own notes, right?
I did, because I thought it would be valuable to just look at it in a large scope.
Then later,
over a period of time.
Okay. Then later we went over the medical records. Is that right?
Correct.
And we made those corrections.
Correct.
Okay. When I spoke to you and hired you on this case, what was the scope of the employment? What is it that you were supposed to address and look at in this case?
Opioid abuse, addiction, dependence, opioid withdrawal, treatment for opioid dependence, period.
Did you do anything with regard to any other issue in this case?
I did not.
You just addressed that particular issue, is that right?
Very specifically, period.
All right. Now, we talked about some of the mistakes in the records. For instance, we see that in April 20, your personal chart, we see that on April 20th, there was no use of Demerol, but it turns out there was the 21st there was use of Demerol, right?
Correct.
And then we had differing days and the like on your personal charts. Is that right? Is that right?
Counsel introduced these into evidence.
Just a moment. Let's not have argument. Remember, the objection's overruled. You can finish your question, please.
Please rephrase.
The days that you had on your personal chart that was offered, all right, by the people. That
mistakes that what occurred. Defense counsel introduced these charts.
The
People
objection is
229.
The objection is sustained. You're going to have to refer to a particular exhibit, please.
People's 229, People's 228 that they were talking about, your personal charts, right?
Yes.
There were other days that were missing from those charts, and there were some days that were added from those charts, correct?
That's correct.
All right. And later we addressed all that, you and I, and we made those corrections. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Now, the medical records that have been introduced in this case, they are clear about the dates. These are clear medical records. They have the dates and the amounts. Is that right?
They have the dates, but I'm going to tell you the copy I got was relatively illegible with respect to dates.
Well, my question, though, is that...
They are all dated.
Yes, they're all dated. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you.
And that's my report on this morning's courtroom activities in the Conrad Murray trial for the killing of Michael Jackson.